Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to our latest webcast that we're bringing you from Travel Weekly as part of our Roadmap to Recovery series. And I'm delighted to be joined today by Matt Stewart, who is, of course, the Chief Commercial Officer at online accommodation specialist Stuba. So hello, Matt, how are you?
Hi, Lucy. Great, thanks. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, really good. And it was great to report on some news that you put out earlier this week around a new development that you're introducing to the UK market. You're going to be offering hotel confirmation numbers on all bookings. But perhaps you can explain to us why you think that is an important thing to do.
Sure. Well, we think it's important because in today's world, the hotel booking journey is actually quite sort of complex. There's a lot of systems involved and a lot of data handoffs. And with channel managers, switches, property management systems, central reservation systems, there is an opportunity at times for something to go wrong in that booking journey. And some industry research we've done suggests that in up to 1% of hotel bookings, there can be a problem. And in the worst of these cases, it means that a hotel booking actually isn't loaded correctly in the actual hotel's own in-house system. So, you've got potentially a client that arrives after a long and exhausting journey. They arrive at the hotel says there is no booking, we're full, and we're going to have to relocate you. So that is the nightmare scenario for everybody involved. Travel agent, tour operator, the client's holiday is potentially ruined on day one and requires a lot of urgent and intensive attention from that agent or operator to try to resolve that situation. And of course, in this day and age with social media, if that client's sharing that experience, then that's a lot of reputational and brand damage to that agent or operator.
Well, I was going to say, inevitably, if that was the case, the client would just immediately pick the phone up and try and contact their agent. So, is this something, you say you did some research, but is this something that bothers agents quite a lot?
Absolutely, it is. Like I mentioned, it is just the worst case scenario within our sector because for every 1,000 bookings or 100 bookings, whatever it might be that go perfectly, what stands out is when a booking goes wrong, and people remember that. And it's the same for clients. They can be a repeat client for many years, but if if they see it as you've been responsible for ruining their special or once in a lifetime trip, then they're going to remember that, and that's going to really harm that agent or that operator. So I think it's something small but sort of quite powerful, and it just ensures and gives our agents and the operators that book with Stuba that reassurance that we've reached out directly, regardless of the booking journey, how that booking's been made. We've reached out directly to that hotel. We've retrieved that hotel confirmation number that is within their own system, so we know we're going to avoid any of those nasty surprises that sometimes can crop up.
Okay, so tell us then how your new system will work. Is this some kind of big tech build that you've been working on over the last few months? Is it something that's unique then to Stuba at the moment?
Yeah, well, it's certainly, we believe we're going to be bringing this to the UK market. And although there are a couple of others that are doing it on a bit more of a sort of random basis, as and when they are able to, with a certain chain, because the chain is providing it or something like that. So it's sort of on an automated solution. We believe we're the first to actually sort of guarantee it on 100% of all bookings and put an SLA, a service level agreement, in place as well to guarantee sort of in what time frame that will occur. So for us, we will guarantee agents that they will have hotel confirmation number available within our system and on the hotel voucher a minimum of 7 days prior to arrival. Now, in terms of how we achieve that, I would like nothing better than to have developed some AI and system that is fully automated. There is some tech and processes in place that we've optimized. We did a really significant sort of pilot study across UK market, but other markets behind the scenes over the last 18 months. So we've optimized and developed quite a few of these processes behind the scenes. So there is some AI, there is some optimization and automation in there. However, it is backed up by a call center, which is just going sort of old school and simply phoning. There is no other way sometimes to do it other than phoning, speaking to a human at the hotel saying, this is the reservation, can we have your hotel confirmation number, and then populating that within our system.
So that's quite an investment for you then, at a time when everyone is clearly struggling in the industry, but you obviously felt that was important. And I know you've said you think it's going to set a gold standard. So you do obviously think this will set you apart, I imagine.
Yeah, we feel confident in that, because we're just giving agents that reassurance that although, these problems, and in those worst case, like the example I gave you, thankfully, are reasonably rare, but if an agent is doing any kind of volume, they know they will have experienced this, and it can have just such a disproportionate effect on their business, on their week, on their day, that everybody wants to avoid it at all costs. And everybody rightly should feel that I've made a hotel booking or even a holiday booking with that tour operator or with that bed bank. So rightly, they should expect it to go swimmingly. But unfortunately, sadly, as we all know, sometimes things can go wrong. And I just feel, with what we're bringing to the table now with HCN, we're just limiting those chances of something going wrong enormously. So we just feel there's going to be a more sort of confident approach, hopefully, to booking hotels with Stuba after this program has been launched.
Okay, now you've been running a trial, haven't you, to see how it works. What have the results been like, Matt?
Well, it's been, so we launched these sort of trials about 18 months ago, and it obviously with COVID coming along, it's been a great test bed, because hotels, obviously during this last year, some have been sort of planning to open, and then with little or no notice have then been not opening. And of course, there have been, sort of a lot of reports, again, sadly, that clients have been arriving to find that the hotel is closed and can't get. And when these things happen, it's always typically, out of hours. And unless the agents have got a full kind of out of hours service, it can just snowball into a huge nightmare. So the tests have gone really well. And as I said, it's been getting a proper test over the past 12 months. And we found that in that sort of previously up to 1% of cases where there could be a problem, not necessarily the worst case problem, but a problem, then we found that those have been reduced by 88%. So actually, and this isn't just in the UK market, it's other markets too. So it's pretty robust data that we've got now. And I think as I said, it reduces the chances of a problem by at least 88%, and actually reduces the chances of a worst case problem by almost 100%.
Okay. And then obviously we ran the story earlier this week. And so I guess that you must have had some reaction so far. And I know you've also got a sort of education program for the trade as well to explain to them why these HCNs are important. So just explain to us what you're doing with agents to communicate this move.
Sure. So obviously we're working with yourselves, which is great to try to get this sort of awareness out there. And then we're reaching out to all of our trade partners, large and small, just as you say, to try to introduce HCN, to try to explain why it's important. Again, on the face of it, it doesn't necessarily sort of sound like hotel confirmation number. Well, we booked with you, we got your reservation number. Why is this important? But just talking them through what we're doing behind the scenes, why we're doing it, sharing some of that data and insights with them, to just so that they understand, sort of what value it is actually bringing to them, obviously, and hoping that this actually will set a new standard, and that others will follow, because ultimately, if they do, then we are going to create a much sort of safer and more confident environment for hotel bookings across the UK trade.
So you believe that you think your move will sort of pull everybody else up? They'll have to follow ultimately.
Time will tell, but I'm guessing that our competitive set and tour operators and what have you are going to be asked that question by those travel agents. Well, we would like an HCN because it's a no-brainer that it's obviously then going to reduce the chance of there being a problem. Why why can I not have that? Yeah, I can if I book with Stuba. So again, it's not necessarily all about sort of a competitive issue, but it's simply about us looking at how can we raise standards. We've been trade only since 1991. We've been doing what we've been doing a long time. The trade is our lifeblood. And we're constantly just trying to innovate and find ways that we can just sort of raise standards and obviously share the benefits with the travel agents and tour operators that we work with.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, you mentioned there it's all about reassurance, isn't it? And I mean, that's been a buzzword, hasn't it, through the pandemic? As people start to book holidays again, they're going to need, we're being told they're going to want more hand holding, and they want to be more, assured that their booking is going to be fine. So I was going to ask you, really, we've also heard that people are going to be moving more to like a full package, obviously booking with a trusted travel agent. But how does that work for you guys? Do you anticipate, customers being less inclined to sort of book elements separately and look more for a package holiday, or, because of what we've been through?
Yeah, I think we have seen some of that trend for sure, and it's actually what we've seen from our side is it's quite sort of destination led. So what we have seen is some of the short haul markets. We do seem to see a shift in share, so that we can see that potentially some of that short haul market is going sort of more package, and that trend I think was accelerated a little bit by COVID, but we were seeing that sort of pre-COVID as well a little bit. I think Jet2 and the success they've had has definitely played a part in that. But we're quite relaxed about it. Many of the partners that we work with are creating packages and selling them to either other agents who want to work as a pure sort of travel agent, or direct to the consumer. So we do see small shifts, but I think there is, in the last year, people have wanted more security. People have unfortunately had some tough experiences with travel companies that they've booked with. I'm delighted to see though that traditional travel agents and bricks and mortar and high street travel agents have come out, I think, faring really well compared to perhaps some of the online players. So I think there is, we hope, a resurgence in people booking with traditional travel agents, and a newfound respect and appreciation for them.
Okay, and just before we let you go, Matt, just you touched on there some of the small shifts and trends you're seeing. What else are you seeing in terms of your forward bookings? Maybe by destination, by duration, accommodation type, or people trading up. What kind of thing are you seeing?
Well, you mentioned trading up, and absolutely, we are seeing that. Our average booking value has risen quite considerably since COVID kicked off. So by approximately, just under 30%. So that is very considerable. So I think we are seeing some of this. People have been locked up, and they're now looking to sort of book holidays almost like a sort of two budgets into one holiday. They've missed out last year, so they're going big. In terms of, we're seeing a lot more sort of 5-star. So in terms of what tends to get booked with us, we see 3-star around the sort of 25, that's got 25 to 30%. Everything above that is 4 and 5 stars. So we actually see vast majority is sort of quite high end that we see. Again, that was something that was in play before COVID, but we have seen that accelerated over the past year. Remains to be seen whether that will stay the case, after this year, but we'll see. In terms of lead times, we're seeing either really short or really long, and not much in between. So at the moment, we're seeing, in terms of bookings that we're taking today, tomorrow, for traveling within the next couple of weeks, we're seeing a big trend there. And then outside of that, I mean, our average lead times for those sort of medium to long-term bookings is 200 plus days. So we are seeing a lot falling into the winter and beyond. And to be honest, we don't expect that to change anytime soon.
But I guess it depends on everybody else on what comes on the green list. And then I guess you've got to just make sure you've got accommodation in those places, because I guess the demand then shoots up.
Absolutely, yeah. So, I mean, after Portugal, like many other operators and businesses, we've seen a very significant surge immediately. So we're as prepared as we can be for those other high demand destinations, your Spain, your Greece, et cetera, just waiting and hoping that they do, make it onto the green list.
And what do you do, Matt? Do you just kind of you're anticipating what you think will come on, whether it's the islands or the Balearic Islands or whatever, and then are you putting more accommodate? Are you trying to sort of sign up more properties, or I mean, how does it work to try and manage kind of supply and demand?
We've got a sort of huge access into a huge amount of inventory across all those sort of high demand destinations. So more for us. We know we've got access to that inventory, so it's there, ready and waiting. More for us, it's just making sure that we know who's open, what the plans are, and make sure that we don't end up inadvertently with hotels giving us rooms that they've got on sale for July, and then they end up sort of not opening in time. So it takes them a while to gear up. Same as the airlines, they can't just switch it on overnight. So they need to bring people in, they need to get the property ready, etc., etc. So it's more about trying to make sure that the properties that we've got ready to go and on sale are properties that we're confident are ready to go and can be on sale.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm sure it's been a minefield trying to navigate through all of the traffic light system, and it's going to continue for a bit. But certainly this new development around your hotel confirmation numbers does sound like it's going to give some real added assurance to customers, but to agents obviously selling your properties. So good luck with that. Come back and tell us how it goes. We'd love to hear. But thank you very much for joining us today.
Great. Thanks a lot, Lucy. Thank you.